Hey everyone, it's Lexie. So in today's video I'll be sharing with you all the books that I plan on reading in the month of November. So November is an exciting month for me because I have kind of a couple days off. So I have Veterans Day off and then also like American Thanksgiving as well, which is really good because I feel like I've just been burnt out recently, and so it'll be nice to have like the breaks because I do work from home Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So when I have the Thursdays off, it's really helpful for me just to, be able to be at home and relax. So I'm expecting to get a lot of reading done, and these books that I've picked out for this month are kind of all over in terms of genre, and I'm really excited about them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get started. So starting out, this is a book that comes out later this month, and it is Feel Your Way Through by Kelsea Ballerini, and this is her book collection of poems. And so I'm a big Kelsea Ballerini fan, as you can kind of see there. I've met her a few times actually at concerts, which is really exciting. But she has a poetry book coming out and all that stuff, and I think it'll be interesting. I'm not a big poetry person per se. I never really liked the poems that we had to read at school, but I'm hoping this, and I don't like the Ruby, where is it? I don't know. I'll write the person's name here. That's just that's just a couple words thrown together. I don't really call that poetry, but I'm hoping this won't be interesting because she is a songwriter, so I think it'll be very similar to songs, just without the melody component in here. So I'm really excited to see how I feel about this one. Like I said, I'm not a big poetry person, but I think because I do like her songs that she's written, I think I will enjoy this a little bit more than I do with poetry stuff. Next, this is a book that my aunt lent me when we went back home to Canada back in August, and so they're trying to come to visit during American Thanksgiving, and it's a little bit difficult just with timing of getting your COVID test results and all that thing. So we'll see if it ends up working out. If not, I can return this back when we go home over the holidays in December. But she let me borrow this one, so I want to kind of return it when she's here because I don't like to hold on to books when people have let me borrow them. So this one sounds really interesting. It is the the Marrow Thieves by Cherie Dimaline, and as you can see, it's won a lot of Canadian book awards, which I think is really important, and it also kind of deals with the treatment of First Nations individuals in Canadian culture, and so I think this one sounds really interesting. So in a world nearly destroyed by global warming, the Indigenous people of North America have been hunted for their bone marrow, which carries the key to recovering something the rest of the population has lost: the ability to dream. Frenchie and his companions, struggling to survive, don't yet know that one of them holds the secret to defeating the Marrow Thieves. And so I think this one sounds really interesting. I think it will raise a lot of important kind of discussions, not only about climate change, but how Indigenous people throughout North American history have been treated. And so I think this one will be very thought-provoking. I think it'll be a very powerful read, so I'm really excited to see what this one has in store. And it's fairly short too, so I think won't be too bad to read. Next up, this is the Tales and Teacups book club picks for the months of November and December, and I'll have everything linked down below in regards to the book club and all that stuff. But for the next 2 months, we will be reading The Orphan Collector by Ellen Marie Wiseman. I think this one will draw very important and very thought-provoking parallels to our current state of affairs with the pandemic right now, so I think this one will be really interesting. But it follows this girl who is a German immigrant in the 1918s, and she goes out one day to get food for her and her brother, but her brothers end up being kidnapped when she comes back, and they get kidnapped by this woman who has lost her baby during childbirth, and she blames the immigrants who has caused the Spanish flu pandemic. And so she wants to kind of purify these immigrant children to Americanize them, and so it kind of goes off from there. But I think this one sounds really interesting. I think again, it draws a lot of parallels to our current life, but also kind of the anti-immigration, kind of xenophobia that has kind of been brought up, which has always been there, but it's always been I feel that kind of Asian hate that came out with COVID and all those things. I think it will be very thought-provoking and see for us to see kind of how history has repeated itself, which I think it's important to see these kind of cycles and understand how we can break them. So I think, again, this one book sounds super interesting, so I thought this would be, even though it's not like a, you know, the happiest material, I think it's a very thought-provoking, I think it will be a very thought-provoking novel, so I'm really excited for us to kind of read this together. This is the book that I am currently reading right now, and I'm not too far into it, so I can't really, you know, tell you what I feel about it, but it's been on my shelf for a while, and I'm like, you know what, Lexie, you just need to pick this up and actually start to read it. And it is A Man Called Ove by Fredrik Backman. I'm a big Fredrik Backman fan. I love his Beartown series, and so I was really like, I feel like this is the book he is most known for besides Beartown, so I was like, I'm gonna start with this one just to see, but I know it is very much a tearjerker, so I'm like mentally prepared that I'm gonna be crying at least at some point while reading this. But it's about this grumpy old man who's kind of just not, like, he's just the, it says, grumpiest man you'll ever meet. And so he's very bitter, he's very angry, and then he ends up getting these two, like this young couple moves in kind of beside him, and they kind of form a friendship, and it kind of goes off from there. But yeah, like I said, I'm very much expecting this to be a tearjerker. I've heard nothing but great things about this, and from what I've learned from like Beartown and all that, Fredrik Backman has very kind of lyrical writing, and so I'm really excited to see how that kind of portrays into here. So yeah, I'm just mentally prepared to start crying. And lastly, I wanted kind of thriller to kind of finish out this month, just because it is kind of like dreary out and it's wet, you know, at least where I live, like it's just wet and cold, and I wanted like a thriller to kind of fit this atmosphere. And so this one has been on my shelf again for a while that I've just wanted to pick up, and I feel like this is the perfect time to do so. And it is The Good Sisters by Sally Hepworth. This is a book that I saw everywhere when it was first published, so I'm very intrigued how I will, you know, feel about it. But it says, Fern Castle works in her local library. She has dinner with her twin sister Rose 3 nights a week, and she avoids crowds, bright lights, and loud noises as much as possible. Fern has a carefully structured life, and disrupting her routine can be dangerous. Dangerous. When Rose discovers that she cannot get pregnant, Fern sees her chance to pay her sister back for everything Rose has done for her. Fern can have a baby for Rose. She just needs to find a father. Simple. Fern's mission will shake the foundation of the life she has carefully built for herself and stir up dark secrets from the past in this riveting, rich, and shocking story of unexpected love. So I think this one sounds super interesting, especially like with having the twin sister aspect. I think it makes it like a little bit unique and fun. So yeah, again, I'm very intrigued to see how I feel about this one, and I've heard like pretty good reviews of this one as well, so I just don't really want to know too much more about this. I just kind of like to dive in and just, you know, take it for what it is and just kind of experience it myself. So yeah, I'm really excited for this one. Like I said, I feel like this is a perfect kind of, it even says here, everyone has a dark side, and I feel like this is the perfect book to read when it's just like wet, cold, rainy outside. So that's it, guys. Thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know in the comments below what books you plan on reading this month and all of that fun stuff. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys next time. Bye, guys.